Indeed.
You know what I mean? No, that's real talk. So, Cherene, another thing I want to mention. So, we talked about preventing it. Another thing I would think that can help prevent all of this behavior is like growing up in the environment that's traumatic, right? Like all the things I just mentioned. It could be resources, it could be a dad not being there, it could be a dad beating your mom, whatever the case may be. None of this shit is normal. I think all too often we normalize the trauma we went through, and when you normalize something, you don't address it. When you don't see it as a problem, you keep doing the shit, or you don't see it as a problem, so you end up repeating it. Real shit. I know people who, women and men, that can't stand their mama, can't stand their daddy, right?
Right.
But they just like their ass.
Now, can
when
you
I
see
say they just like them, they just like them. You see
just
what I'm saying?
like we're very much, yeah. Now, you know what, Harrison? I'm gonna take a moment. We're gonna take a moment of silence on that. We got to, because I'm gonna honor that. I'm gonna honor what you just said. That
happens a lot, and I think the reason why that happens is because you resent their actions as a human, as a person, but you never took inventory on how it affected your actions. If you grow up in a house with a person, I don't care how horrible this person is, believe me, Black family, you not only have to realize that they have horrible behavior, but you have to do inventory on how am I acting like this person. You see what I'm saying?
Now, can you see my screen right now, you guys?
Now, hold on one second. I can add it. Hold on one second, Cherene. I ain't never seen no shit like that. Hold on 1 second. We gonna try something new today, y'all. Hold on. Bam. Bam. You see that? Wait. What you just did? You just did something, focus. You can't do that, Cherene. Something you just did.
Stay there. Stay there.
That's perfect. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay. Yep. I can see it. Epigenetics.
Okay, so what you're talking about when you were just asking me about, well, Cherene, how does a household affect, and basically how toxicity exists in our families, and this is it, epigenetics.
Epigenetics. So you mean because I had a brother on my show called Rev Shock. On my show called Rev Shock, who is a psychopathic minister. Like, he's deep into African studies, and he got degrees in this shit, right? So he talks a lot about how nothing really happened, like everything happened to us. He goes into deep about all of our actions as Black people,
right?
How we have hella kids as Black men. All of this shit is in epigenetics because our ancestors was going through this. Black men was getting raped. Black men was getting treated as brutes. So they had to go into a barnyard and have sex with 25 women. He says, like epigenetics, he says all of this is embedded inside of us. But I guess the question becomes, Cherene, if we want to be better people, if we want to be productive members of society, how do we kind of fort that off? Like, I want to get to a situation, because again, I go through shit in my family with my family members and our closeness, our lack of closeness. And I always look at like, damn, what's actually going on here? And knowing history, I'm looking at everybody's lineage, their mom, their dad, how they was raised. I'm like, a lot of dysfunctional shit happened. And as a family, I think you can do it with like a psychiatrist or go talk to somebody. But as a family, I think we have family reunions and shit. We have situations where we all come together and eat and shit. We need to come together and say sorry, right? we need to get together and have a goddamn apology fest. You know what I mean?
Well, just to to go back to okay, indeed. So you had someone on your show that talked about it really quickly in your own words. Can you just explain to our viewers what epigenetics is, so that they will understand clearly when we talk about the toxicity that kind of forms in our families, how it forms? Yeah. Can you talk about it a little bit? It's right here. Like, it tells us, epigenetics tells us how certain lifestyle factors, such as diet, stress, right? Single mom, single father, and even exercise can change the way your genes are expressed. Interestingly, these changes appear to add up to affect things like health risk for disease and general well-being. So these things help to do things good, right? But when you're not doing those things, then you get the opposite. You get the opposite.
And that makes sense. You may, because what Rev Shock was talking about, right? Like on some deep shit. If one of your ancestors, let's say you had an ancestor who was a slave, very prominent uncle who was a slave that everybody loved back in the day.
Okay.
If he got beat all the time, if he constantly had to go through strife being a slave, like let's say he had a horrible experience as a slave, like he could have been free at that time. Let's say he had a horrible experience. That energy can be transferred into members of your family. Even let's say you had an uncle who was no. Go ahead.
No, can you keep talking? But can you see the screen?
Yes, hear me at it right here.
I'm going on. What you're talking about is what I'm here right here. Historical trauma.
There we go. Yep. Okay. Let's say you had an uncle who was a business owner. He owned the own block. Your great grandfather owned the own block, had hella business acumen, just knew how to handle business. And everybody be telling you, damn, you handle business good. It just seemed like you was here before. Right. You see what I'm saying? I think all that shit is epigenetics. All that is, you was here before. The lineage that you have in your bloodline, that shit's powerful. That's why today, just to bring it to today, I'm so adamant about what I'm doing. I got 5 grandkids. 5 kids. You know what this actually means? Like, what this actually means is there's 10 people. Let me go back to us, Cherene. There's 10 people who I'm responsible for as far as my lineage is concerned. I'm the patriarch of all. I don't have a grandfather. I don't have a father. So when we talking Anderson, my kids, they kids, I'm the patriarch. What I do can affect my great grandson. Come on now, y'all. Who I am, what I manifest on a day-to-day basis can affect my kids.
That's the epigenetics.
What the fuck are we really thinking about?
That's the epigenetics that we're talking about.
That's it, Cherene. That's some deep shit. You brought that up because we Black folks, because of trauma, because of racism, because of disenfranchisement, we some in the moment motherfuckers. Fuck 10 years. What's up with tomorrow? I'm thinking about lunch tonight. Fuck a 401k. And this is why when people die, we see car washes. We see that's a microcosm of a much bigger issue. We see car washes, we see food drives, we thinking that. And now look, a person with life insurance, I'm thinking, damn, you could get enough life insurance to cover your life for $13 a month. But you got to be thinking about it.
Right. It's not something that's taught.
No.
And just to go back to your point, it's just so important when you talk about how like what you do day to day, and when we talk about epigenetics. It's my eyes. You guys, I definitely know how to read, but I need some glasses. So, but at the end of the day, when you talk about stuff like that, like you and like how you are and that, you can't even be thinking about the future. You have to think about the right now, because every single moment, every breath that you take, every move that you make, especially now that you're putting yourself on for the whole world to see, it's not going anywhere unless the world comes to an end, which half of the world believes it is. It's going to be around. So everything that you do, everything that you say will have an impact on not only you and the people in your household, but the people that come after you, your grandchildren and your great grandchildren, and moving on. Now, one thing I want to point out about toxicity in Black families.
Okay.
A lot of Black families focus on owning the people in their own household. And the way I was raised, the way I was raised and had love instilled in me, my mom, she never out of her mouth let me know this is what matters. My mother made me know that my whole family matters. So I raised my son like that. Everybody matters. His great aunt, my aunts, his first cousins, his brothers.
Wait, real quick. Did she bring you around them?
Harrison. My first cousin.
That's important.
I know. I'm just saying. I'm like Harrison, excited. We grew up like brothers and sisters. Remember, I told you my mother moved out here to Sacramento from Texarkana when she was 16, following her older sister who was 18. Shout out to my auntie Dorothy Lavange, who I'm named after. My middle name is Cherene Lavange. That's my clothing line, Cherene Lavange. We're gonna figure the rest out.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is, what happened is in Black families, a lot of people are focused only on their household. We're no longer concerned with first cousins. Not that we're not concerned, but we don't even have the mental capacity because of the stress you talk about, because how you can't even focus on the future. You got to focus on the now. Because all of the trauma, the crises, and the mental illness we're dealing with within our own homes, we're focused only on our own homes. And that's where the family breaks away. That's where animosity comes up. That's where people's feelings get hurt, because people are not communicating. They're only communicating within their household. So now you have families that grew up like brothers and sisters who are separated, and they live 20 minutes away.
That's the story of people in my family. And when we reconnect, a lot of times, most times, if not all, there's no real bad blood.
No, there's not.
I can't even say that, okay, that person wasn't fucking with that person. Sometimes it's not even that. It's just like you said, God damn, Cherene, that's 100 right there. I'm thinking about my son, the woman in this house. I got to feed them. I got to clothe them. I got to deal with this relationship shit. I got to deal with this in my house. But I didn't reach my potential as a man. And I'm going to be honest. This is my opinion of me. Until I started thinking outside of myself completely. Right. Once I started thinking outside of myself completely, I became more accountable. I became more of a person you could depend on. People need to realize some real shit with all people in general. Mm-hmm. A lot of times we make shit about us. It ain't about you. Everything is not about your ass. You ever seen somebody say some shit to me and they're like, yeah,